Hello everyone, and Happy New Year! I can't believe that the channel just turned 2 this week on January 5th. I want to give a big thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. I've got a lot of fun and interesting content lined up for the year. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If it becomes really popular, this could become a fun new series. An enormous storm hits the Mariana Islands as a volcano on one of the islands violently erupts. The eruption sets off small underwater earthquakes as far as the Godzilla Trench. The JSDF is monitoring the storm from headquarters and notices a disturbance in the trench on one of the feeds. The imagery comes back blurry but shows a large figure about 80 to 100 meters in length emerging from the trench. A few days later, a Japanese maritime patrol aircraft is deployed for further investigation after the storm and takes pictures of the entire region. The new images clearly show a monster-like figure about 80 to 100 meters in length, as well as what appears to be dorsal fins and a long tail. The photos indicate the monster-like figure has moved a great deal and is currently heading to the Philippine Sea. Unsure what to do with the information, the Japanese government decides to keep the discovery a secret. The government wants to keep the public calm while more information is gathered to confirm whether or not the monster-like figure is an actual kaiju. Internally, the figure in the photograph is named Godzilla after an old Odo Island legend about an ancient dragon that was awoken by a great storm. Enraged, the dragon destroyed the island with its fire breath. In the meantime, the JSDF continues to monitor the region. After 3 weeks, a Chinese submarine is destroyed in the Philippine Sea, which immediately raises tensions around the world, particularly between the United States and China. China accuses the United States of trying to start a conflict in a bid to push the Chinese Navy out of the Philippine Sea. The United States accuses China of trying to stoke tensions and trying to provoke the United States. Thankfully, Japan reveals that the submarine may have been destroyed by an unidentified object codenamed Godzilla found near the region earlier. They show the world photographs of a monster-like figure in both the Philippine Sea and the Godzilla Trench. Believing Godzilla destroyed the submarine, tensions simmer between the nations. With the existence of Godzilla revealed, the Japanese military creates a G-Force division to track Godzilla. G-Force swings into high gear and uses all of Earth's resources to find the monster. The JSDF stations ships in all of Japan's major ports should Godzilla get close to the mainland. The Air Force runs patrols nearby the mainland and surrounding seas. After a few more weeks, Godzilla surfaces in Issei Bay. Japanese Navy ships nearby engage Godzilla. Godzilla roars in anger and engages the ships. Godzilla's dorsal fins light up and Godzilla fires his atomic breath at one of the ships. The Navy ship explodes, leaving G-Force speechless. Fighter jets engage Godzilla in the bay but are no use for his atomic breath. Godzilla easily knocks the jets out of the sky with his attack. Godzilla lands in Nagoya and walks through the city streets, crushing everything in his path. Godzilla knocks down buildings, setting off huge explosions. Godzilla tail whips buildings, sending them crashing down. Godzilla fires his atomic breath to destroy more of the city. Godzilla destroys building after building with his atomic breath. Nagoya is left in a sea of flames. Godzilla walks through the streets, destroying city blocks with his atomic breath. Godzilla knocks down more buildings and trashes Nagoya Tower with his tail. Explosions go off as Godzilla moves through the city. After a few hours, Godzilla completely destroys Nagoya, leaving it in a sea of flames. Hungry, Godzilla heads to a nearby power plant in Shizuoka. Godzilla marches through the Japanese countryside as he heads towards the nuclear power plant. G-Force attempts to slow down Godzilla and sends out more military to engage Godzilla in the country. Godzilla arrives in a small town and rips it apart with his atomic breath. Godzilla marches through the town, destroying more buildings. Godzilla tail whips buildings, knocking them down to the ground. Godzilla then fires his atomic breath one last time, obliterating the town. Godzilla begins to head out and crushes homes with his feet. Godzilla hears something and looks up. The JSDF finally arrives. Godzilla battles with the JSDF but effortlessly defeats them. Godzilla destroys fighter jets and tanks on its march towards the power plant. G-Force sends in another wave of attack, but Godzilla fires his atomic breath again. Tanks and jets explode as Godzilla unleashes his atomic breath violently. Eventually, Godzilla makes it to the plant, leaving a path of fire and debris behind. Godzilla destroys the plant and absorbs its energy. Godzilla heads back out to sea, leaving G-Force stunned. G-Force tries to figure out Godzilla's next move and how to defeat him. Realizing he is lured to nuclear power, they decide to use a top-secret project on Godzilla called Anti-Nuclear Energy Bacteria, or ANEB. The anti-nuclear energy bacteria was developed after Cold War tensions were renewed during the 1980s. The Japanese government wanted to be able to defend itself against any future nuclear attacks. G-Force detects Godzilla moving towards Tokyo and mobilizes the military to Tokyo Bay. Eventually, Godzilla arrives in Tokyo and rises out of Tokyo Bay. Godzilla decimates the military easily. Godzilla destroys rows of tanks with his atomic breath. Fighter jets fall out of the sky as Godzilla fires his atomic breath. Navy ships explode as Godzilla makes his way out of the bay. Godzilla gets on land, roars, and then walks through the city. Godzilla rampages throughout Tokyo, knocking down buildings and firing his atomic breath. Tokyo begins to turn into a sea of flames. G-Force decides to position special ops soldiers in the Shinjuku district with bazookas loaded with anti-nuclear energy bacteria. Fighter jets use flares to lead Godzilla into the district. The large skyscrapers are perfect for getting the soldiers on Godzilla's level. Once in position, the soldiers fire at Godzilla and successfully inject Godzilla with the bacteria. Angered, Godzilla rampages throughout Shinjuku, destroying more enormous skyscrapers. Godzilla fires his atomic breath, wiping out an entire city block. Godzilla uses his tail to smash and knock down more buildings as he destroys Shinjuku. Godzilla fires his atomic breath, obliterating a few more. After some time, Godzilla is still rampaging throughout Shinjuku and destroying everything in sight. G-Force notices Godzilla isn't showing signs of being weakened by the anti-nuclear energy bacteria and realizes that perhaps Godzilla is cold-blooded. G-Force decides to test this theory and firebombs Godzilla to raise his temperature. Godzilla destroys skyscraper after skyscraper. He obliterates Tokyo Tower with his atomic breath. Godzilla walks through the Capitol building as he continues through the city, destroying everything in sight. Eventually, fighter jets arrive and begin firebombing Godzilla. After some time, Godzilla's temperature is raised and the anti-nuclear energy bacteria begins to work. Godzilla becomes weaker and weaker and the military closes in on him thinking they can kill him. Godzilla manages to destroy the military forces and works his way back towards Tokyo Bay. Godzilla becomes weaker with each step, but he is close to the water. Navy ships move into the bay and raise their cannons ready to engage. Godzilla falls into Tokyo Bay as he fires his atomic breath at the ships. As Navy ships explode in the distance, an extremely weakened Godzilla slowly swims out of Tokyo Bay. Godzilla heads out to the Ogasawara Trench and goes into a deep hibernation. Tracking the situation, G-Force celebrates the victory for now. Realizing that Godzilla could return, G-Force decides they will need another kind of anti-Godzilla weapon in addition to the anti-nuclear energy bacteria.